yeah, my injury in 2021, as I mentioned, that just kind of that came about, and back then I was, like a doom and gloom, chances of making it's over. But at the same time, I wasn't too fussed, like understand everything happens for a reason. I just didn't know what that reason was at the time, but I did find, oh man, I like this stuff, So it just happened that was like 2021, and this is what we're in 2025 now. But it all happened, it all worked out in the end.
All of this, bro. What's happening in your mind right then when you were just watching this all unfold? What's going through your mind? Like, what the heck? Tell me, describe for us.
Well, I was literally thinking, bro, this is a movie. Like, I'm literally looking up, like the lights and everything. And I was like, this is. I keep like, I'm telling Tony, I'm like, nah, this isn't real, G. And he's like, and he's just like, that's us.
Welcome to Mandate Season 3, 2025. Like I said before, everything changes, but one thing remains the same, that we navigate fresh perspectives, but also nothing is off the table. And so our guest is from Tamaki Makaurau. He's originally from West Okilani and happens to be an amazing talent, an up-and-coming videographer. And so he's been cutting his teeth, rubbing shoulders with some leading musos in Aotearoa, New Zealand, but also leading content creators and also some prominent athletes in Australasia. So the man has an incredible story to share. Please put your hands together for the incredibly talented Justus Leaoseve! Hey, also, hey, thank you so much for coming out. I know you're our very first guest, Justus. And so also, any words you want to, in terms of you want to start off our session or Talanoa tonight, anything you want to, something inspiring that's just kind of like, hey, this is the first one for 2025.
Yeah, just officially just want to thank you for obviously bringing me on. And yeah, it's good I'm keen to have a good chat, and just blessed to be in this position. So firstly, just want to give God glory, and then look forward to having a good chat with you.
Oh man, tāna also maru, love so for also because I know it'll be quite different because obviously you're always the guy behind the camera, you're filming, you're doing all the videography, the editing, and so forth, and so let's run it back. I'm curious to know where did it all come? When did it start? When did the passion of videography start for you? Well, take us back to the beginning.
Yeah, it's a funny one. I kind of always like go back to it because it's not actually that like long ago, to be honest. So, what do I go back? There's kind of 3 points that I kind of like found how much I enjoyed doing this in terms of like creating videos and content. One was definitely in church. So I go to a church out of Mount Roskill Evangelical Fellowship, and I was always the guy that like pulled out the camera and recorded things. And we have these kind of like a skit night at the end of our church camps. So I was always like making like little videos and little music videos with maybe like the young kids, and performing to the church or showing the videos to the church, and that kind of like really like ignited that passion for me, like how much I really enjoyed it. But we were like doing full production, kind of like choreography and all of that with like my little cousins and stuff, and just all shot on an iPhone. And man, like that was when I kind of really sparked the interest, like, oh, this is something that I really enjoy doing. I kind of found it because I would be like tired at work, and then I would get home, and then I knew I'd had to edit this video that I've made with the boys from church, and I was like, not tired when I did that. And that's kind of where I realized, how much I enjoyed it. So that was the main one. And then there's 2 other ones, which was my league club. I had jumped, 2021, I got injured and did my ACL, and it's off like a full 9-month injury. So I was on the sideline and just asked the club, because my cousin had run the Instagram page, can I jump on and make some videos with you? And yeah, that whole season in 2021, just videoed the boys and tried to be useful. And through that, I go to that rugby league club's called Bay Roskill Vikings. That's out in Blockhouse Bay, Central Auckland. I still play for them now. And that was my second one. And the third one was like a little page I made. It's called Spyware Man. So it's like pretty much the same group of boys, the same church and the same, footy boys, we all used to go to the Warriors games, and there was one day that we went to the Warriors games in Spider-Man gears, and that was just based off the fact that what was it? Based off the fact that we were at a stag do and all dressed up, and all the young boys said, "Oh man, you should go to we should go like this," you know. And then obviously the crowd and the cameras went crazy when we went there. So yeah, I asked all the boys, "Man, this is a good opportunity. Can you guys all record on your phones, and then I'll make a little video out of it." And then yeah, that was those three are kind of my like key points that I kind of realized how much I enjoyed it. And then also like this filming with my kids, and so I've got two little ones, Kenzo and Sunny, and filming the family events, and yeah.
Mad also. Just out of curiosity as well also, because there has to be like a defining moment, Justice, in terms of like, okay, when was that moment? You share those 3 points, but when was it the defining moment when you said, hey, you know what, I'm all in. I have to do this. I'm going to make this my full-time job. When was that moment that, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a videographer. I'm just going to do this 100%.
There is one moment, bar, and it's kind of got a backstory behind it. So I was working in construction. At the time, I've told other people this, and it's on my content and that. But I was working in construction, and my job kind of got in a tricky situation where like the client, and there was arguments, and they weren't paying us, and so we got the blunt end of the stick, and we weren't able to get paid. So we were just at home, me and my wife, Virginia. We were just kind of like trying to find where the next dollar was, you know, like flipping furniture. We had to go like about 4 to 6 weeks without anything, so we were just trying to find, you know, like ways to make a bit of money. And I had already bought the camera 6 months earlier, but I had never like kind of touched it, just sat in the corner of my room. And my wife came out, and I still remember this moment. She came out and she's like, "We gotta sell this next." Oh, sorry, "We gotta sell this next," you know. And I was like, "Nah, they're not that. Like, no, nothing like anything else. Is it? You know, like, can we sell another couch, or you know, like flip another table?" And that was when she was like, "Nah, like this is gonna be really good money for us." So I said, "You know what? Nah, I'm gonna use it then." And she's like, "You know, like what are you gonna do?" And I was like, I'm gonna make a page. I'm gonna, you know, start it up. I'm gonna make something out of it, you know." And that night I made the page, which is my business, and then made the Instagram page. Text my brothers and my cousins and said, "Bro, like, let's go for a training tomorrow, and I'm gonna record yous." And they were like, they're a bit weirded out at that, you know. But yeah, that was kind of the moment where I kind of went all in, and I've never looked back, kind of thing. So,
Bro, man, it's funny, Justice, because sometimes when push comes to shove, when your back's against the wall, you're like, oh my gosh, you got to do something. It's interesting. You had that. You said you had that camera for 6 months, and you didn't touch it until that time when your wife said, "Hey, you better sell this." And so I can imagine all these thoughts like, "Oh no, I got to use this. I'm pretty good at this." And so you threw caution in the wind, and you do this because it seems like it's not that long. Also, the time frame in terms of what you've done now and who the people that you've kind of done work with. How does it feel for you right now, like sitting here, but also just the work and the people that you've rubbed shoulders with? Tell us the whole experience.
to be honest, it's like you said, I'm grateful as, you know, to be in the position. I do see it as a privilege and a blessing to obviously rub shoulders with, you know, the likes of the people that you've or I think we'll probably touch on. But I kind of just, in a way, I kind of not bring it down to earth, but I always remember that, like, try and view them as the person, you know, view them as a human being, you know, like, as much as media and you know, like I don't know, the world kind of like explodes these characters. When you meet them one on one, you can kind of see how much they actually are just like us, you know. They I don't want to name drop, but a big one was Jaya Pataya. So like I'd always, obviously, you know, us, we the guy's the man, you know, like he's I had always like kind of not an idolized, but like, yeah, like, man, like always watched and seen him, watched his fights, all of that. And obviously getting the opportunity to meet him, I was nervous, you know, like you would be. Dude can snap his fingers in, you know. I'm gone, bro. But it was good, you know. Like when I actually got to meet him and actually get to meet these, I realized, oh man, he's just like us, you know. And they're just like us, just, you know, laugh and joke and, you know, banter the same way. Have their you know, want to provide for their families, and yeah, it's been good. I just kind of keep reiterating that in the back of my head, just remembering that it's just like everyone else, and
Also, because you said Jaya Pataya, obviously you've done some work with Swiss and Tree and so forth, some other artists, and also some other athletes as well. And that sometimes those things can change your person also. They can change your person. Oh man, I'm doing these. I'm with these people. I'm doing all this videography with these amazing people. And so for you, you see you're grounded, and your faith is a massive part of who you are. Uh, in terms of the videography part, I know there's a lot of people, a lot of other young up and coming videographers. What sets you apart from, or what do you think sets you apart from other videographers?
mm. I think definitely like what you're talking about is the faith aspect of side of things, where as much as this is a passion, and as much as this is it's a blessing to be in this position. Um, for me, it's more the bigger goal is to glorify God. Bro. Is that verse that I kind of was drilled in by my parents, especially my mom. She was a big encouragement to me. Is that First Corinthians 10:31. It's whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it, for the Lord's glory. And that's kind of like the same thing that I've kind of always put into, or tried to put into, in every situation, whether it's a league or whether it's spending time with your kids, or even just having a chat like how we are now, giving it your full effort, because not going into it half-hearted, and that was the kind of encouragement that I was given, even when I was starting this business, by my mom. She was saying the same thing, like, if you're gonna go in this, full. Don't leave anything hanging, because that's what the word, 1 Corinthians 10:31 says. It's like, if you do it for the Lord's glory. So I think that what kind of sets it apart. But at the same time, I don't want to be like this, like set apart in a space that I'm different, because I'm just like everyone else. There's better videographers out there than me. There's better guys at audio, better guys at like at everything. I just find that the difference is I can kind of connect with people as well, because I understand how people are. Like understand where they come from, and I think being understanding is something that is missing, where we can kind of miss that. Even in the people that like, what's the word, higher up, like we kind of forget the roots and forget where we came from. And that's something that I try and always remember to ground myself in, or I'm trying to remember that. So something that I struggle with, but it's been good.
That's cool. So
Good to
I
remember.
appreciate it. I appreciate it also, because you are, from the onset, I've met you several times. You're humble, but I also know under that humility, there's a fire in the belly. I know you're driven. You're highly motivated and you're very driven. And so also, just props to you in the work you've already done and the work that you are going to be doing in the future as well. But also there has to be something, because you see you connect with the people, you connect with the artists and so forth. But what's your signature? What there's got to be something that kind of makes you. This is Seve visuals that kind of puts you, or like you said, sets you apart from everyone else.
I think on a more like a, not business, but like content kind of like standpoint, I just don't want to leave like any stones unturned, or I think leaves unturned, or whatever you call it. Where like, so for instance, a difference that I kind of saw was that a lot of the people behind the cameras don't want to be in front of the cameras, so the guys that are shooting, I don't really, like, let's say like there was a lot of videographers in that I wanted to know what they get up to outside of the shoot hours, like I see their work and it's beautiful. I wanted to see what happened behind the scenes, and that kind of like prompted me to kind of jump in front of the camera as well, and then obviously give an insight more into that, and that was what I brought in YouTube for the last couple months, since New Year's, was just to try and bring people along on the journey. I think that's a big thing that a lot of people miss, where we want to like jump and show our best work, but often it's not our best work that's the like the thing that people want to see. It's they want to see the journey, and they want to see the times that you weren't good at doing this, and then now you are, so that's like kind of I think the difference is showing the journey, showing you progressing, and it's something that I would say separates me. Because, like I said, bro, I'm not the best at a lot of things. I'm only a year and a bit into this, but I'm willing to kind of be vulnerable enough to show people that, and then bring people along on the journey to do that too, bro.
Maru love also. I like how you mentioned vulnerability, and obviously, videographer. You're always behind the cameras, behind the scene, and you've made the kind of bold move to come in front of the cameras as well. And like you said, the progression is obviously evident in the work that you do. And so when we talk about vulnerability, because you mentioned your mother, and I don't know, is it something that we could touch on also, or is there something?
Sure.
Or and so because she's a big part of who you are, real intricate part of obviously your faith, but as besides the videography, can you tell us a little bit about your mother? Because I know your mom's passed on, but if you could share that with
That's cool.
with us also.
So my mom, her name was May Leaoseve. So my mom and dad's Patrick Leaoseve. A little bit about my family. So I've got 3 siblings, just Joel, Jarvis, and my little sister Georgia. So that's our little family, Leaoseve family. My mom, she was like she was different, eh? Like obviously I didn't get the privilege to grow in a real I would say culture driven house. Because mom had kind of dad had grown out of the family where he was adopted out of the family, so he didn't get the opportunity to learn that. And obviously mom's the Cook Island Māori side, so it was kind of no middle ground. But in terms of mom, she was really strong on her faith, real real strict, but at the same time loving. And like she would be the one, even when I would like get my first kind of shoot in this industry. Let's say I got my first big shoot, and she was always the one to text me, "Hey, remember who you are, remember the Lord," and always pointing me back in the right direction, bro. And she's I had the privilege to obviously use this kind of gift and use this avenue that I've kind of gone into in terms of videography to document her as she went through her last days, because she got cancer, and then gave us the news. When was it? Would have been beginning of last year, I think. A few months that she had only had a short amount of time left, and that rocked my world, kind of thing, eh? To be honest, because she had always been there for me, bro, and how do you kind of express what can you say in that time? You just think about all the moments that you could have done better, and since then I try to make every moment count, but at the same time I really want to make my mom proud, eh? And that's kind of the same thing that I do now, is like trying to live up to that, but at the same time not forgetting that I've got my own kids and I've got my own wife as well, and I need to as much as I want to make her proud, I need to tend to them and be the father and be the husband that I'm called to be. So yeah, bro, I don't know really if that answers the question.
Oh, no, for sure. So I know because I know I did watch the video clip on your Instagram, and it's just powerful. Obviously, you put the footage around being in the hospital, in the hospital room, and your family singing hymns, and your dad speaking and praying, and so that's powerful, because I can only imagine. Just capturing the footage, but also the pain and the anguish, and you sitting here just kind of, and I don't mean to open up the past and so forth, but I do want to capture that, because I know your mom, and I know we've talked several times, and your mom is a big part of who you are as a man. And so I often wonder, what is it about mothers, and maybe you, just from your own point of view, what is it about mothers that kind of in terms of nurturing men or boys into men? What are your thoughts on that in terms of you as Justus?
My mom kind of played like both roles for a while, eh? It's kind of like a tough period in our life, but she, I think, in terms of like you know, they just have like that caring aspect and like caring side of them where as much as they're strict, you know, like as much as they might be on your case, they love you, you know, more than anyone else. And they also know you more than anyone else. Like, oh, bro, I'm telling you now, I could say a sentence and I could fool the whole world. And my mom would be like, I know you, you know, you're lying. And that's kind of like how it is with Mother's Day. And I always say to like the boys, man, appreciate what you have, you know, appreciate the time that you have, appreciate the moments that you have with your parents because, you know, like now I understand that. And I remember like at the time, mom would say, hey, like phones down or hey, like make sure you're here for this dinner, this family dinner, because, you know, you never know how many we have left. And at the time, you know, like I always, you know, just saying that. But once you actually, you know, past that point and obviously losing a parent's a big thing. Yeah, man, now it's like all those little gems that she said, I understand now, bro, and super grateful for her, man. I miss her so much, but, yeah, that's just something that I would say a mother definitely has. It's like she knows you more than you know you know, and I give it up to mums, especially mums that are, you know, like invested in their kids and look after their kids. And yeah, bro, that's kind of what mum was to me.
Yeah, mahalo love also. Also, just wondering because obviously the work that you do, the line of work that you do, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. You know, you said like you know, sometimes social media, the devices and so forth, Facebook, whatever, and doing content and all that kind of stuff. How do you balance all that? Also, how do you balance that from being involved in all this content and then like, oh, because you got kids,
Yeah.
and you got family members and your wife, you try to juggle all that. How you balance being in that role in social media, but also just being a husband, being a father.
Yeah.
And
It's called Google Calendars.
are you sure?
Nah, yeah, bro, I would be lying if I said I'm balanced because tell you, my wife always tells you I'm not. But I have like I have like spoken to a lot of people and it's definitely like organizing your time like specifically. I used to kind of like at the start of all of this, I was kind of like just have a to-do list and then wishy-washy, you know. But now I find that you know you allocate time to things that means that and you run by it, you know, like kind of like a drill sergeant, you know. When it gets to those times that you do have with your kids and that, you know, you approach that the same way you approach your work. You know, when it comes to I have like relentless work hours, let's say like 3 hours. I just, you know, try and lock in. And then the family time is when I try and make sure that I lock into that as well. You know, the same kind of energy that you put into your work, try and put that into, you know, your family life. Not only that, but then also like your, you know, the when you're at church, you know, make sure I'm at church. When I'm, you know, like, what other things? Sports, you know, giving it to that. But that's something I'm still navigating through, bro, because I do kind of cross paths where maybe like a bit of work comes in the family time, or you know, just like, yeah, like work goes overtime, and but I would say just being organized and then trying to, you know, drill in, like fully give yourself to that schedule, bro, is something that I found. So, yeah, I live off my calendars now.
It's good, man.
As much as it can be good, but it can also be too much of a good thing. It can be bad, bro. So even just like times that I am off, like let's say a Sunday, I try and just not look at not look at the calendar, you know, like not look at anything like that. And if I'm at church and it's, you know, we're just relaxing in the afternoon talking, I'm trying to be in that moment as well. And yeah, it's a good reminder. Oh, trust me, my wife reminds me every time, bro. So she's gonna watch this and then clip it back and then screen record it and then I'm just gonna get it nonstop, bro. So that's good. It's I would say the scheduling and the being organized it definitely helps me personally. So
Have there been times where you find yourself like, oh man, because I know, because you're in high demand now. Have there been times where you're like, oh my gosh, I just can't, just the balancing act is just a bit overwhelmed, and that you just feel like, oh, you just describe, if they'd be like, shit, the balls are beginning to drop, man.
yeah, there is where I've had to sacrifice like like a thing that I was fully in that I haven't been able to give as much to as my sport, because I was like before this I was I was all in into my footy. I still am, but like just like obviously the work's picked up, so like and when you're in demand, you got to kind of pick the two, and I know that's gonna also happen throughout the year because we play on Saturdays, and then I'm gonna have to figure out a way. What if there's a big job on the Saturday, and then but yeah, it's kind of just like picking, but not just like swaying one way, like not always work, 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 because you gotta get away from work. And sport is my getaway, man. Like honestly, it's when I'm there with the boys on the field, I'm not thinking about no editing, thinking
Bro,
about
man, they get me started on sports. You say sports, oh man, my man. So because you're Kelston, Kelston. Oh man, the Kelston boys. You guys are what? Because was it league or
I'm
union?
league. So.
Right, you guys are killing it after the union as well. And so in terms of you were before the videography league was your thing. Was it so you were just aiming for league? And I know you mentioned before you had an injury, and so tell us, because I know sports was a major part of who you are.
Yeah, so like before this, the kind of like the drive I had for this, I was like that much into league, bro. So like trials and get my body right for so that I could be at my best every week, and put in the right fuel in, all of that, like stuff that athletes need. The right sleep as well. That's a big thing that I think a lot of young athletes miss. That I was like pretty strict on, making sure you get your sleep, because that's the best recovery. And then so making sure that my body was right, and getting the right fuel for the games and for the trainings, and that was me. So that same kind of drive I had for the last kind of, I don't know, like 23 or 24 years. It's not as much now, but there's still those habits, just like waking up and going to the gym and making sure that you're eating at least semi right. I'll be lying if I say I eat as good as I was back then, but I think that taught me good habits, bro. That kind of transitioned well into this, transitioned well into life, bro. I think that kids that get into sports, and especially that like driven in the sports, they definitely learn a lot of good habits. A lot of even good life skills like teamwork and how to communicate well with your colleague. Maybe you could use that, and then even obviously networks. I would talk about a lot. Like I built a lot of networks through league, and then my injury in 2021, as I mentioned, that just kind of that came about, and back then I was like a doom and gloom. My chances of making it's over, but at the same time, I wasn't too fussed. Like I understand everything happens for a reason. And I just didn't know what that reason was at the time, but I did find, oh man, I like this stuff, So it just happened that was like 2021, and this is we're in 2025 now, but it all happened. It all worked out in the end. And,
You still kind of get the itch now and then, like, oh man, obviously you watch the NRL or in the league games. Do you kind of like, oh man, that's that dream is still there, or was it like, no, that's long gone now. I'm a videographer now.
It's like it's weird. It's like there are moments, but it's not like the dream. It's more just like the camaraderie I miss. Oh, not miss, but I like that. I like that side of things. Just like going out with, bro, like school footy especially was my favorite, bro, because you spend all week with the boys, you're in class, and then you go out and you go out and battle on the field, and then you guys, you get a hard, tough win, you get back to school and you get to talk about it, and you walk around school with your chest up and all of that. So that was one thing I definitely missed, bro, that side of things. But at the same time, I'm not like too like envious or anything. I'm happy where I am. I think I'm grateful, and I know that this is where I'm meant to be, Boris. So I enjoy this. I would say I would enjoy this more. To be honest, in terms of not just videography, but just the whole, what you would call it, entrepreneur or business, or just that in general. Just I enjoy that. I would say a bit more.
That's awesome, also. Just because it seems like everything's like fast tracked there, Justice. Like, just from like, just like you. So how did tell me, tell us, because you were doing some massive festivals at the beginning of the year or even last year. And how did that all pan out? Because you say you're just new in the game, up and coming, and then all of a sudden, bang, I'm here, videography, rubbing shoulders with these amazing artists, and then you got Jaya Pataya. How does that go? Is it just your faith? Or is it just God opening up doors for you? Or is it just who you are? Like you said early on, it's because you're good at connecting with people. How do these doors open for you?
I don't know. I
would pay someone.
I honestly get that asked a lot, and it's like you said, God opening doors. That's 100%. But honestly, like if I like tell, like each thing kind of happens in a different way. I don't know. Where you want me to start, from the beginning, or like even in terms of the fest? Like
you can maybe start with the festivals also, because
so that one,
that's some.
I'd done some work for a good friend. Her name's Liz Leaoseve. She's Tree's sister, and she's like they all call me nephew. I'm just like their little nephew. But I did some work for her early last year, and then she had kind of gotten a role, or like started up a business in terms of that was taking over the festival kind of scene, and she needed someone to run the content for it. And because I'd already kind of built that connection with her and kept in touch and all of that, she reached out and just said, "Oh, I've got a position for you. I've got a big role for you." And that's how I got on the Maoli stage, and then obviously like One Love, and that was cool, man. That was a good experience. I got to rub shoulders with a lot of good creators as well. Alpha. Who else was there? Redeemer, Rough Pops, the other Aussie boys, Simeon and Loss, and and then obviously the artists themselves. That's where I met Tree. Oh no, sorry, I met Tree a little bit earlier through Liz, as I was saying, her sister. But then got to do future work with Tree and Swiss. Bro, it's just kind of just through connections. And in terms of Jai, that one was just like that was a left field one where I went over there for a holiday. So I was in Gold Coast with my family for a holiday. But it was funny. I was on the plane and I saw the fight date, and I was talking to my wife. I said, "Imagine if I went to this fight." And she was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I'm meeting the media guy, Jai's media guy, for coffee." And I was like, "Imagine if I went to this fight." And she was like, "What, you think they're just gonna rock up and give you a pass to a world-class fight?" And I said, No, I'm just saying, imagine if I win. And then I went to the coffee, and then I was talking with Tony Marju, good dude, bro. He runs all Jai's media. And then he was just like, "Oh, what are you up to? Did you bring your cameras?" And then he's like, "Oh, bro, come shoot with me." And I was like, "What do you mean come shoot with me?" And he's like, "Come shoot Jai. It's fight week next week." So then and then I obviously got Jai, and then got to shoot Jai alongside them. And then at there I met David Nika's content team. His name's Jimmy. He's a good dude as well. Bro, just built connection through there. And then Jai was like, "Oh, what are you up to on the 8th of Jan?" I was actually booked to leave. And I said, "Oh, nothing." Like, why is that? And he's like, "Bro, come to my fight." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll be keen. I'll check the calendar." No. Bro, of course I'll do that. I don't care whose wedding is on. I'll go anything, So I went, bro, rebooked my stuff, and then went, and then he's like, "Oh, got ringside tickets for you. Oh, ringside media pass." And then, man, just like I could have spent the whole week with them, all the press conferences, but I told him, "Oh, bro, my family's here on holiday. I'll come to the fight." Because the fight was like in like 4 days.
Yeah.
I was like, "But I'll just spend a few days before with my family because I don't want to waste the holiday, So we went to the theme parks, and then on 3 days later, I rocked up with Tony to the hotel, and it's all on YouTube, bro. And I've kind of vlogged it all. It's funny. I made that YouTube 2 days before I met Jai, and then I met Tony and got to shoot Jai. So and I was like, bro, I only just made this YouTube, and my third video is gonna be, yeah, it's crazy, bro.
It's like just kind of you kind of spoken into existence. It's like I don't know, like you in the right place at the right time.
Yeah,
You say to your wife, "Oh yeah, it's gonna talk to Jai Patai. Listen, bro, I'm jealous of you, bro, because Jai Patai is he's one dude. I'm a big fan of Jai because
oh,
I love
bro, we all
the
are,
boxing
bro.
game. I love the fight game and Jai and obviously Tapu his dad,
Yeah.
Patai. And so, bro, because I saw the footage. I saw the footage of you sitting right next to Jai in the ringside, and you there the actual fight in ringside, and when they in the corner, you're doing all of this, bro. Then what's happening in your mind right there? And when you were just watching this all unfold, what's going through your mind? Like, what the heck? Tell me, describe for us.
Bro, I was literally thinking, bro, this is a movie. Like, I'm literally looking up, like, the lights and everything. And I was like, this is I keep, like, I'm telling Tony, I'm like, nah, this isn't real, G. And he's just like, that's us, brother. Like, he's a good dude, bro, honestly. Like, I always got time for those soy. And he was like, I just keep saying, nah, this is straight. Nah, I'm not even lying to you. This is a movie. Like, oh, it's crazy. Even going into, like these are big names here, Eddie Hearn and all of that, like just chilling in the change room, and Den and Camp and all of that. And I'm just like, this can't be, like, but yeah, it's I still like, I was speechless, like even just getting home after that and talking to my wife about it. I'm like, bro, did that happen? Did that just really happen? And then I'm like, I've got it all on this. I need to share this, And because a lot of people have never seen the inside of the changing rooms, and obviously I asked Jay, also, am I allowed to vlog? And he's like, go ahead, like do what you want. So like, not a lot of people have never seen the the inside of the changing rooms, or like the pre like lead up to the fight and all of that. So it was it was like a. But then I'm like, I've never seen him. I'm in that room too. So
Right, man.
shout out to Jai, shout out to Taps, I was Kerry and Matthew the trainer. Well, but they all welcomed me with my arms out. Forever grateful. If Jai's here, man, come on mandate. Honestly, that'll be good.
Yeah,
You guys have a good combo. Got you. I got you.
Hey, man, but because like I said before, I love the sports, and obviously you love your sports as well. And Jai Patai is just one of those guys, because you look at his eyes, and I could tell. Like, you look at those eyes. There's something about this man to tell us. What was he like with you? Like behind the scenes, cameras off. What was he like with you when you were just talking to him? Is he everything that people see on the cameras when they're interviewing him? Is he like that real cold stone killer, or is he just? Is he different?
Also, I was like, I wasn't being like asking a lot of questions and that, because I understand it's fight week, and on fight week, bro, like that's the high, intense, like the pressure's on. So my thing was like, obviously, treat them like, just think about the position he's in, and does he really want to be asking a lot of questions and all of that? So I would just like here and there, just like give him the space, make sure he's focused on his training, like just. And the chances, those small chances I get, I'll jump in and have a chat. And man, he was just like, honestly, just like everyone else, bro, just like mocking the boys, even mocking me, like mocking my accent. And I was like, oh, I didn't even think of my accent. Yeah, it's just like, honestly, just like, it's kind of like you're just talking to like an older cousin, like the same way you hang out with your older cousins, and you have, have a good, muck around and like banter. It's kind of like that. Bro, that is one thing that I always remember is like, he was just like mocking Tony about, because Tony's a bit of a fashion guy, he's a dancer, and he wears all the trends, and he was wearing this like crop top while we were shooting. And Jai's like, don't wear that around here. And I'm like, and Tony's like, this is fashion, bro. And he's like, nah, bro, don't wear that around me. That's not fashion, bro. And I was like cracking up, and I'm like in the middle, I'm like, like, because but it's like kind of like a bantery. But then I get to see the side he was like with his, with his wife and his little daughter. And then that was like, and he was asking me, like, how's it with your kids? And I'm like, oh, it's good. And he's like, how do you find out like having the second one? And I was like, oh man, I found it was good because the first one, the oldest one, has a friend. because I think he's only got one, you know. And then he was like, oh, true, you know. And but then after, you know, bro, at the same time, you know, he just always trying, you know, I was trying to be, you know, like as respectful, you know, because just remembering the, you know, the cameras and all of that, you know, the position that he's in. But yeah, bro, those chats and that week, I'll forever, you know, remember. And I'm just happy I got to document that, which is why I push the, you know, the kind of the line, you know, like document. You got to document, you know. Or else if I didn't, I would just be living that, and no one could kind of understand, you know. Some like you wouldn't have been able to see that, but I'm just glad I had that, you know, that camera, and then just pulled it out where I can.
man, because the proof's in the pudding, eh? You can say, like, imagine if you didn't document that. Oh man, I saw Jai Patai, I recorded him at the back. You know, I was a bit behind the scenes, I was in the changing rooms and so forth. And you listen, oh yeah, whatever. But because you got proof that you're there, you're actually talking to him, and he's training, and you're right in the corner. I was like, I saw some of the footage. You're like right in the corner, like what the heck? This guy's got the front. He's right there. He's right in the middle. You're right in the thick of things.
Oh, bro, I honestly, I'm shocked that I was even there. Honestly,
because he's intense. Eh? You would say he's quite an intense individual, and you say that because it's like he's like one of your boys now, eh?
Oh, I don't know. He's a good dude, bro. I would say like the the thing that I got from it was just the mental, like the mental strength or the mentality. Yeah, that's the word. The mentality that has like it's locked in, bro. Like it's all learned, eh? Like even just like the convos about, I'm like, are you ready, G? Like, how you feeling? He's like, I'm ready. Like, you know, like, I'm like, oh, well, like, what do you reckon it's gonna get? He's like, I'm ready for war. You know, like that's his line. Ready for war. Ready for 12 rounds. And I don't know what's gonna happen in those 12, but I'm ready for, you know, any situation. I'm just like, but that motivates me, bro, because I'm like, shucks, that's the kind of mentality I need to have in my, you know, expertise, in my industry, you know. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. So I'm like picking up little things, picking up that, and like that's a good thing that, you know, the crossover with the athlete and in this position is like, in this industry is like, it's kind of like it's parallel, you know. Different, obviously, situations, but yeah, that was one thing I got from him, bro. It's just like just being ruthless about it, you know. And you got to get somewhere. The fastest way is, you know, straight to it. So, yeah,
just bust down those walls, hey.
oh, bro.
Because he is, you're right. The mental fortitude that he has, I've never seen some boxer. Yeah, he just the mindset that he has is just crazy. The mentality he has is just real killer instinct. And so just you were saying that sometimes these sports and what you're doing kind of parallel. What are some, like, in terms of the work that you do now and your mentality? You've rubbed shoulders with him. How has it changed you in terms of the way you run your business and videography and your brand in terms of your mindset now?
I think one thing that I did always hear, like in interviews and even just like I'm saying, it's like doing stuff that people are not doing, you know, like trying to do that extra kind of 1% and trying to find whatever that is. But then also another thing was like, I did notice, I don't know if he said this, but I have heard him say it in different interviews. It's like he's got, you know, mouths to feed, you know, like kind of like it's all on him, you know, that kind of thing. And he's got you know, like I look around and I was like, bro, like there's this uncle that's working for him. You know, his uncle's his assistant, his coaches, his dad, all his family's there, his brothers right next door. And I'm like, yeah, so like it really is kind of all on his shoulders. And that kind of like, I would say motivated me, you know, like kind of figuring out a way to get that in my industry or my neck of the woods where, you know, I want to provide for my family, you know, not just my own little family, my kids and my wife, but also my brothers, my dad, my sister, you know, even my wider family, my cousins and all of that. So that was what kind of got for me, just putting it all on my shoulders. I don't know if I'll be able to do that in this business, but even finding a way to do that in some form of a business, I think would be a goal for mine this year. Or
That's
even,
good. That's good.
upcoming.
100%. That's awesome. I think that kind of mentality in terms of, and sometimes we put that pressure on ourselves or these expectations on ourselves. And so, just going back, because you mentioned Joe Patai and his wife and his daughter, but you got you obviously your wife and your two kids. And so, how does your wife feel about all this kind of new opportunity and all these things that have just happened out of the blue? You mentioned Joe Patai, all the other stuff. How is she feeling about this whole new journey, so to speak?
Oh, to her, it's just like another job that you're gonna be out of home, eh? No, she's just like, she's happy, bro. You know, like she's seen it from the, you know, like from the get go, you know. And I'm not saying that we're like, you know, like free and living, you know, like living freely, but she's my biggest supporter, bro. And everything that, like, let's say a person would message me a inquiry, you know, like a high up person. I screenshot that straight away, send it to her. I'm like, look who messaged me. And it's like, yeah, it's like a team thing. As much as it's me on there, it's not just, it's me representing a bigger picture. My wife, my kids, and my family. Hence, you know, even the kind of backstory behind Seve obviously is the Seve Visuals name. Not only is it because obviously like that was my school nickname, you know, back at school. I've said this before, but also like it's a part of me. It's my last name, and I kind of hold it well. But then also I wanted to find out what is my last name. You know, where am I from? You know, what's you know, like who am I kind of thing. Because yeah, it's like a long story, but my dad doesn't really know where he got his last name from because he was adopted out, and then kind of chose that name through an uncle. Yeah. As I've told you before, my dad's family's the Parker family. But then, yeah, was adopted out of it. So it's even that. And I've had, through this, bro, I've had a lot of Severs message me and ask, are we family? And it's like, I don't know, but we'll find out, you know? And it's cool. They follow the journey. And it's like a little, I would say, byproduct that's coming about, but kind of finding out, yeah, where I get my last name from. But I hold my last name.
It's cool. It's cool.
Either way,
So,
so
as you should, because you know your last name obviously you represent your family, your whānau, your ainga, and so Sevi, I know a few Sevis. Yeah, because I was going to ask you, do you know this? Do you know Junior Sevi? So forth, but I also you mentioned you're also related to Justus Parker, the Parker family, and so forth, and so I think that's an important part of us as individuals, but also as a man, just identity and finding out who is, you know, connections and the family and so forth. And so is that journey, is that like an ongoing journey for you, or is it like, no, I'm cool with Leaoseve. This is it for me.
yeah. Well, my thing is like, it's funny. I met, like you say, the Parkers, and I met Joseph when I was working for Butterbean. I don't know if I mentioned it, but yeah, I worked for Butterbean, Dave Latele, for about 8 months, and my first shoot was with Dave and Joseph Parker. And after the shoot, I was like, should I say it? Should I not? Because I don't want to be those, you know, oh, we're cousins. You probably heard that like a billion times, bro. But I actually,
hey cuz.
So I was like, should I say it? Should I say it? And I waited. He jumped in his car. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna say it. So I walked up and I said, Uzo. He's always like, I'm your cousin. I didn't.
Don't lie, man. You did it.
I did. I'm part of the Parker. I'm related to the Parker family. He's like, oh, who do you know? And then I just said, I know my Uncle Ray. I know Tori. I know Auntie Tina. And he's like, oh, so you actually are. So we're family. And I'm like, nah, I won't say we're family because I don't claim that. I'm not claiming. I'm just telling you. I know I know the Parkers. I'm related to the Parkers, but I'm not gonna say I'm related to you. And he's like, well, we're family. Give me your number. So I'm like, oh, snap. So like, he's going to give me his number, and then he's like, text me. So then, yeah, through that was how I met Joseph. That was like, yeah, this time last year, or maybe a few months later. Right, yeah. So I still got a number and like on my phone, but I was buzzing out, eh? But yeah, like I don't know. I'm like that. I'm like I'm not ashamed of my my family,
Yeah.
but as much as I'm happy, I'm happy with just being, Leaoseve. Because a lot of people ask, who's your Leaoseve family? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, there's only us that I know of. Like before this whole journey, where I've met other Seves, I've met like that reached out and that we've talked online and stuff. But yeah, I'm either way, I'm still gonna hold my name, on my chest, gonna wear my name on my chest and be happy. But it would be cool, bro, to kind of like fully know, yeah, where did the last name come from, or because even my dad's real last name was also like Mariota, and I know there's
Really, what? Did you say Mariota?
yeah. I remember. I
So
think
you say Parker, Mariota. You know Marcus Mariota, right?
nah.
Oh, NFL.
Oh, NFL,
Yeah.
I thought you mean like, do I know him? I was like, nah, I don't know. But yeah, like I know who you're talking about. Yeah, but I don't know. Like that's the thing. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe this could be something that I'm hoping that our kids will find that out. And that's why I named it Seve. It's just so that people know this is me, and if we're related, subcus. So
what a story.
It's a bit of a journey.
You know what it sounds like, Justin? It sounds like you're just building up your own legacy. Obviously, you're proud of the Leaoseve, the last name, and you're just building your own legacy. Just in terms of your family and so forth. And that's cool. I like it that it's all about, hey, regardless of the Paka or Mariota or whatever the connections in the family, but you're saying, hey, Leaoseve is it. I'm going to build a legacy around Leaoseve. And so you don't mind if we're going back to your wife, because you said that she's your biggest supporter. And I truly believe that you have someone who is behind the scenes and who just holds it down for you, obviously your kids. And so how important is that for you as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, but also because the work you said it, that sometimes you have to travel back and forth, you're out of the home sometimes. And so how important is that for you, that you have this support from your amazing wife?
Oh, what's that saying? Behind every man is good woman or something like that. Bro, it's just 100%. Like, I can't even focus if my household's not in check. Like, you can't go out to work knowing that your kids are all over the place, or there's no, like, I couldn't go to a job, for instance. I couldn't go to a job without knowing that, my wife's okay and my kids are, fed and my kids are healthy. And even when my kids are sick and I'm out, I'm like, I feel like bad, eh?
You still go here? You still go?
Yeah, but I live it up. I said, you know what? I'm gonna double enjoy this just for you. No. Yeah, honestly, without her, yeah, there's none of this happens, because, bro, I would say her job's way harder than me, because like sacrifices and the sacrifice that she has to make to obviously look after the kids, groom, feed, all of that stuff, and bro, that makes this work easy, and so who am I to kind of give half my energy? I might as well make it worth it. So obviously make her proud and make my kids proud and make my family name proud. So make her proud to see me out there. She was saying there was one moment that she was, it was the Jive one, when she was watching at home, at the house that she was staying at in Aussie while I was out in ringside. She's watching it and on the live stream and like seeing me on thing, and she's like jumping proud, like, what the heck? He was just here and now he's ringside, and like that. I'm more happier that seeing those moments, than the actual job or the actual outcome of it, because like that's what you do it, that's what you do it for. That's who you do it for, There was even at Maoli, I was there, and my brother and my sister, this is the first time they've ever kind of seen me working, and I was on stage when Maoli was singing, and I saw them in the crowd and they're going crazy. Well, for their friends and all the church boys and girls, and they were like waving and calling out my name. And I was just like, whoa, like that was more, what's the word, fulfilling than the actual job, because I get to see and my brother's texting me after. He's like, bro, like honestly, don't say it that much, but I was super proud of you. Like, all of my friends were talking, and oh man, I was like, yeah, I was a proud brother. That was a proud brother moment. And I didn't get to kind of like enjoy it at the time because we were just go, go, go. We went there, straight from there we went to Tauranga, and it was just go. But I look back at that stuff and I'm like, man, that's what makes it worth it, That was the moments that I enjoy more than anything else. So
That's cool. So that's cool. Man, props to you. Because you're right. I think some people get caught up with the bright lights. You get the artists. You mentioned Maoli. Then you had Fiji who was there as well. And so just seeing your family, like, and your brother just texting you, giving you props, it's just so uplifting. It's just so much more fulfilling, eh, also.
100.
And so for your boys, because how old are your
I got
kids?
a 3-year-old, and then 1-year-old. He's just turned 1, so that's Kenzo's the oldest one, and then Sunny, he's the 1-year-old. So yeah, but they're like fruit salads because I'm Samoa Kukala Māori and my wife's Tongan. So we're gonna apply for all the scholarships when we're That's what I always say. But yeah, they're like they're little rat bags. But yeah, I love
Does your 3-year-old have any inkling like, oh, what is the, does he know like, oh, what does that do? Does he just like, oh, you're just dead. Dad is just dead.
It's funny because we got back to church from Australia, and all the kids are coming up to my son, the oldest one. He's like, "We were watching you on the big screen on our TV," and the boy thinks he's like a celebrity. I was like, "Tilly, you're not that guy." But nah, it's cool, like that was actually another reason why I wanted to create the YouTube, was something that I could create with my family, because the visuals, the business is, like obviously that's still of them, but it doesn't really showcase them as much, whereas the YouTube really gets to show the boys, and like my wife, and just everyday kind of vlogs, so that was the whole kind of reason behind it. But yeah, they're funny, those two.
Yeah.
The oldest one, he reminds me of me, bro. He's real protective. The youngest one, he's real smart. So they both remind me of me. Nah. But yeah, they're just good kids. So hopefully, I can keep them like that.
That's cool. Because I find it quite interesting, because you mentioned obviously the YouTube channel, and then you kind of showing your wife and the kids, and some people are like, oh no, I won't put your kids in the limelight, or so to speak. You just, because you're saying just to protect them from any of those comments, and you're doing otherwise. You're doing like, oh, okay, you just put the kids and all that. Have you come across some backlash in terms of some people? Because people, nowadays people can say some real nasty things, whether it's on your YouTube channel or your Instagram, even your work, the quality of your work. Have there been some instances where you're like, man, some people are just outright nasty, and just
Yeah, you get that. Yeah, I think that's where imposter syndrome always comes from, where you're scared of that kind of thing. You're scared of how people are gonna judge you or judge your work or whatever. And I've had that in the past where, like I've had like clients that have hated my work, so they've sacked me for that. And I find it as, if you see it as a doom and gloom, then it's gonna pan out that way. But if you see it as fair, like I learned from this, this is good, that's how I see it. But then also the negative, the trolls, doesn't faze me too much right now. I've kind of built that mental strength. Obviously, seeing people like Jai, and seeing people that I hang around, that I'm around, like Orion, Tia that and then J-Boy, Johnny. A lot of them, they have that mindset, like, just run 100 miles, and if people gonna stand with you, they're gonna, stand next to you. If not, just let them be. And I've had that all the time, bro. When I first started, especially, a lot of people are saying, why are you doing this? You should be finding some work if you're struggling, You shouldn't be mucking around on the camera, and you're too old to be doing that. You got a family and kids. It's like, it's not, I'll show you. It's just like, that's what you think, I don't really let it faze me. I'm going to do this. The only opinions that I did care about was my family. I was like, I only care about, what my wife and kids and my, my dad, my brothers and that thought. And they were all on board, they supported me. Obviously my wife was a bit worried and does have those times, but as long as I'm upfront and clear and all of that, she understands and we can kind of navigate through that. So
That's cool. You mentioned something like imposter syndrome. I've been hearing that quite a few times now. People say imposter syndrome. And so what does that mean? What does it mean for you? So like, is it just you feel like you don't belong here? Some people have different definitions or various definitions. What does it mean when you hear or when you say imposter syndrome?
yeah, it's 100% that. It's just like the feeling that you feel like when you don't belong, you're in the wrong place. Like I say it a lot because it relates a lot in this, and especially starting videography. Like you think, oh man, I'm not like I haven't done this much, or I haven't done. Especially when you're working with other videographers, you think, oh man, that guy's so good, and oh, he knows his stuff. I don't want to muck it up and look like silly in front of him, and that's normal. But you just got to push through it. You just got to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it, and if it comes out wrong, it comes out wrong. Fail forward. You fail and then you just carry on going. Just keep getting up. I reckon the only true failing is actually quitting. If you don't quit and just keep getting back up, you fail forward, you get up and you've learned. Then the next time you carry on and maybe this lighting shouldn't be that way, or this camera angle is wrong, or this camera setting's wrong, and you just keep learning, bro. But you don't learn if you quit. So that's why I'm always a big pusher of imposter syndrome. Don't worry about what people think, bro. Just do you. Just go, give it a crack. That was one thing that I was watching this. I remember before I started, I was watching this podcast. I watched it a few times. It was Jaden Lang with Tausanga, and I've met, chatted with Tausanga, and I've done a job with Jaden Lang now. And he was saying the same thing when I was thinking. He's like, bro, I was like, what's one advice that you would give me? I'm like, you could say, he's like, give it a crack. Just give it a crack, bro. Like, there's obviously a few swear words when it comes to Jaden, but he's just like, bro, give it a crack. You never know until you can give it a full try, bro. I'm like, that's it. That's all I needed to hear. And then that podcast, he talks about it a lot, why if you're given a gift or given a talent, why wouldn't you use it? Why wouldn't you go full swing into it? So these were all things that I was watching before I had even decided to pick up the camera. But when I decided to pick up the camera, I was like, yeah, that's me. I've already built that kind of mentality or whatever you call it, and I just want to do it now. I'm just sick of thinking about it now. I just want to do it. A lot of people overthink, and it's the doing that you actually learn. So
that's true. So I have to believe that it's you just got to start also. You just got to start regardless of how you start, but you just got to start the ball rolling. And then, even if it just looks a bit messy, if it just looks that the quality's not that great, or whatever it is, whatever job you're thinking of pursuing, you just got to start.
100.
And so, can you run it back to when you first started, your first shoot? Can you describe for us? Oh man, was it like? Oh, how did you feel after you finished editing and so forth? How did you feel?
My first shoot, I'll give him. So my first shoot was all right because it was like it was just like a little like church business kind of thing, and there was no real expectation. I did feel a little bit imposter syndrome because you're like, what are you doing with the camera, But I will say my first kind of like, my first moment where I did feel that, oh man, like this is deep waters, was the Jaden Lang shoot, because I was only 2 months in, so I'd only like just started my page. I maybe only had like 6 or 7 videos on my page, and those are just videos of my son, running on the beach or anything. But he had come to New Zealand, and he had put up like this, I think it was this little question tab, like ask me a question. And I asked, have you got a New Zealand videographer? And then he messaged me back and he was like, bro, so actually, nah, that's a good idea. How much do you charge? And I chucked some dumbass pricing or something like that. And then I said, nah, actually, you know what? I'll do it for free, which I should have just done. Said that straight away. I was just rookie, And then he's like, oh yeah, bro, so come to my meeting. So he had his meeting at Dessau 1, where he was meeting and greeting all the the New Zealand fans, and I'd rocked up there, bro. This camera I bought, this kit lens, nothing, like I'd had like no experience in this kind of like, I went from just doing like little 100 follower account socials to straight to this guy who's on like, at the time I think he was on like 300,000. I was like,
Were you using a camera or were you using like a
I was
phone?
using a camera. But so when he said yeah, I get there in like 4 days, I just went and spammed YouTube, like how to use camera, how to do this. Every single day after work, bro, I was shooting bugs in the birds. But when I got there, he's like, oh, you know how to use a camera, bro? So I was like, nah, yeah, I'm all good. And then, yeah, bro, I knew how to put like videos together. I just didn't know the camera. So I was like, so if you like scroll down, you'll see my video I did for him, where I stayed up. So I videoed that. Bro, we went for a feed and went for like Usgang. That's where I met Usgang, Chongi, who else was there? Jack the Asian. Yeah, bro, just some like, I think Terrell. Nah, I don't think Terrell, but
content creators.
Content creators, bro. And these are big names that I was just watching like 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, shucks, what the heck? I'm like doing the sneaky Snapchats and sending it to the boys. Gee, look at me, yeah. And then, bro, from there, he's like, bro, oh, so you're good at doing a little highlight video of the meet? And I'm like, yeah, I'm keen. So I stayed up that whole night, bro, edited it up, and then sent it to him. Fingers crossed. And then he was like, this is sick. And I was like, can you collab me to it? And he's like, yeah, bro, I'll collab you. I'm sweet. Appreciate your work, bro. And then I was like, mad. And then from there, collabed, and that's on my page. But that was one of my biggest, like my first real big gig that size. Before that, I had done like, I had done a few little, not as big, but like still pretty big. There's a guy, Blessed Lifts.
Yeah.
He's one of those also that, bro. He gave me a shot to shoot him while he was training. Oh man, I can't believe that dude's so strong, eh? But yeah, he was one, like probably the stepping stone before for the Jane Lang shoot, and then I would say from that point it just hit the ground running, because from there, Dave Latele, Brown Butterbean, saw my video, and he was looking for a videographer, and then messaged me, bro, can I get you to come do a video for me? And I was like, yeah, keen. But at this time, I'm working like full time in my job. So like, I'm like, what day? And he's like, Joseph Parker comes on Wednesday between 12 to 3. And I'm like, sweet. So I wake up earlier for work, and I'm smashing out all my jobs so that it gets to 12. And then I get those couple hours. Right, while I'm doing the shoot, my supervisor's ringing me. He's like, bro, where are you? Why is your tracker off? And I'm like, oh, I'm sick. But yeah, and then, bro, it all worked out, like, from then it just like got little job. And then, not little jobs, but like job after job, until obviously Butterbean gave me the opportunity he's like, oh bro, I'm keen to chuck you on my media team full time. And then that was the kind of first taste of the industry.
So you're telling me also that you just went on YouTube, you just try to figure out all this stuff in terms of videography, and you just kind of went hard out. You just went hard out on just trying to figure it out.
Bro, YouTube is king. Like, I wouldn't say you don't need film courses, because film courses are good. They explain as well. But for people that can't afford, honestly, YouTube and practice. Like YouTube, not only just practice, but practice on set. Like go out and cold email or cold message. Like thing. I used to copy and paste this one same message to different influencers, like, or different people. I'd be like, I know it for her. Say, hey, love your work. I'm a new videographer and just looking to kind of get my experience up. Would love the opportunity to work for you. Let me know if any opportunities pop up. And I would send that same copy and paste every night to this person, 20, this rugby club.
Jeez.
Yeah. So until one landed, and not one, but like few would land, and I'll go have a coffee and then see what they would have. And I was hoping to try and get paid for these, but you got to start with free work, honestly, 100%. You have to start and build your brand, your personal brand, your experience, and then it gets to the point where everyone, you're well known enough to not well known enough, but you're at the point where okay, people are ready to pay for your services. So,
Jeez, good on you, man. What a hustle, man.
yeah.
What hustle? You're saying you're doing this, all of this while you're working full time, juggling the household, your wife and your kids, doing all of this, and you go on YouTube. Jaden, you got you got Dave Lee props to the Butter Bean, all that kind of stuff, and all of this happens real quick.
Yeah.
How does that happen also? Because there's some people out there like, man, how the heck did this guy? This guy just comes out of the blue and just does all this, and it just happens, just boom, it just explodes, and it just, like I said, it's just fast track to you just doing some amazing work right now. How does that happen also? Because I'm thinking right place at the right time, God, all that kind of stuff. But the thing is this also, I say this because I props to you to your hustle also, but you can't just do all of this and not have talent. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, like because some people can learn us on YouTube, but not have a real good eye for the angles or whatever. There has to be a sense of a talent or something that you have that qualifies you to be in this space also. And I think, bro, I don't think you've said it because you're humble, but you're a talented cat. You're a talented young man. So you can't just learn all of this and go, oh yeah, it's gonna pan out. There has to be talent in here also. So what do you say to those young budding videographers who say, oh, and imposter syndrome, all that kind of stuff, who wanted to do this, they feel like, oh, I need a break, I can't catch a break and all that kind of stuff. And yet you're sitting here and you're a testament of actually doing this. What do you say to those guys like, oh, well, you're lucky because you're in the right place at the right time? What do you say to those guys who may have the talent, but just feel like they're stuck?
I reckon it's like the opportunity that, like, if you're knocking on the door and the opportunity doesn't come, bro, one of the boys would say knock down the door. Eh? So it's like you gotta, like, what's the word? You gotta put yourself in the right positions, of course, like you were saying, but at the same time, don't take no for an answer. Like, just if this person doesn't see your talent, you go find someone that does, because there is someone that does. I remember before all of this last year, here in a bit, sorry, I was always watching videos and I was thinking, I'm sure I can do that, you know, like, I'm pretty sure I could do that. If I had a camera, I could do that. And like kind of backing myself in, like, I don't know what the word, affirming or affirmations in that. And if you're like saying that, bro, that means you're at that point, you're ready to give it a crack. So you might as well just, I'd rather give it a crack and fail than not even give it a crack and, you know, never ever know. So I would say, if the opportunity is not there, or if the opportunity, you know, doesn't present itself, go find the opportunity. You know, if you look at my DMs, holy, you'd see how many times I cold emailed or cold messaged that same message. I would say at least 200 times, bro, maybe 300, just to the same. I started off with cafes, and I started off with Melba Cafe, Monaco. I'll drive past another one. Oh, that's another cafe. Go search them up on Insta. Go send the same message. I did it like the first 2 weeks. I just spammed everyone, but at the same time, I knew like, oh, something's gonna turn up. You know, just backing yourself and reaffirming that it's gonna happen. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. You know, what's the verse? Romans 8:28. If for all things work
together for good.
Yeah, together for the good of those who love Him. Obviously, knowing, you know, trusting the Lord in those times, but at the same time, man, just go run.
Just got to do the work. You just got to do the work, man.
You just got to do the work. There's a lot of people that ask me, how did you get into these rooms? It's like, you just put yourself in those positions to get into those rooms. You know, you have that coffee. A rule that I have is never miss out. Never at the start. Sorry, is like never miss out on a coffee. I was like, oh, never miss out on a meeting, because that meeting could have led to different. I would like pinch myself if I didn't make it, because I was like, I don't know what that could have happened, or, you know, what could have turned out. I will say though, at the same time, you have to, you know, continually improve, you know, in your craft, and the way you do that is just practice. Keep practicing. Keep, you know, as much as the business side is one side with this, it's also, you know, the talent, or also the actual creative work that actually comes with it as well. And that side, it's like, I would say it's never ending, because you'll never ever not learn a different thing in this line of work. So yeah, I would just say just putting yourself in the right positions, and then just running 100 miles.
Yeah. Because I can imagine all the no's, the no, 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 no. And so if you're getting all these no's and you're saying, like, you just got to back yourself, just affirm and just believe and just, how was the confidence? How was the confidence for you when you were getting all these no's? You've tried everywhere. How was it for you? Like, were there times where you felt like, man, maybe I'm in the wrong place. Maybe this is not for me. Were there times where you were on the brink of, I might just do something else or divert to something else?
I'm pretty stubborn, eh? I was like, if you said no, I'd list your name down. But I remember that.
Yeah, was it Melbourne? Melbourne.
No.
You missed out. Why?
I'll tell you, this one burger joint. I remember I went to
Was it burger
this
joint?
burger joint. I went into, and I was like, hey, bro, I'm a new videographer. And they're like, how much? And I was like, oh, $50 for a video. And the guy's like, $50 for a video. And then, bro, later on, the guys messaged me like a couple months back. Oh man, I love your work. And I was like, silly.
$200.
I screenshot. I sent it to my wife. I said, look at this guy. I'm gonna charge him 50 grand.
Because nothing's off the table. What's the name of the burger joint?
Oh, no.
Oh, man,
Burger King? No.
bro, man, that is a movie. You said earlier on that this is a movie. Just the whole journey is like a movie. You're just behind the scenes, and now you're in front of the camera, and it just gets better and better. And it seems like you're just writing your own story, so to speak, and things are happening. And I love it. I love your grit. I love your determination, and I love that you're stubborn. You said you're stubborn, and so it's sad because I can imagine a lot of people who are trying their best. They think this, and they just feel like. And you said something that's very important. That you said, you don't give up. If you stop, then then it's finished. But while you're still going, the dream is still alive. What do you say to those guys to men in particular? What do you say to those men who are just in the brink of breaking it or cracking it, and they're at a point in their lives or their careers or their dreams that they feel like, yeah, you know what, it ain't gonna happen for me. Maybe I should just do something else.
Mm.
What kind of words from your own personal journey thus far? What kind of words can you say? It's just to encourage them.
I think definitely I'm big on gratitude, bro. So being grateful for whatever position you're in. Because I was like that in that situation that you're talking about. I was like that in my league thing where I was like, I'm doing everything, bro. I'm better than that person, like, how the heck is this guy cracking and I'm not, But like being grateful for the position being grateful for where you're at, like who's around you, all of that. Because then it doesn't matter what's going to happen next. You're fine. You're fine if this doesn't work out. Honestly, I have this thing that actually Ice does, and I kind of copied it off him, where it's just writing down what you're grateful for every morning. And I do that, bro. And it's like, because it makes you realize, like there's actually things you need to be grateful for. Grateful for a good dinner, grateful for, I don't know, morning coffee this morning. And yeah, that's kind of like practices getting in the mindset of being grateful. We can always sometimes we're always looking forward to the next big thing, and then you don't actually realize, hey, be where your feet are, be with the people around you. Don't always look at the grass that's supposed to be green over there, because there's people around you. There's your family. I always have to remind myself that, as much as this is the new normal, I still need they're still my day ones. Still the boys that I kick it with, muck around and, but yeah, it's just the boys now the difference is the boys just getting me to shout all the time. No, but it's all good. It's, like, honestly, it's cool. It's a privilege, I find it as a privilege to be in this position where I'm representing the boys. You know, I'm representing my family. I'm representing all of that. It's just grateful. Yeah, sums it up. Just being grateful.
It's cool, man. It's cool. I like that. Yeah. You have to be kind of grateful for the positions or the things that happen, even the hard times also.
Exactly.
I think there's sometimes where you don't want to be grateful, like just you're ungrateful, and you're just pissed off at the world, and things don't pan out as you would like them to be. And there's some times where you feel like, oh man, your back's against the wall, and there's a lot of negativity out there also. And I'm glad. I appreciate that your mindset. It is you just keep going and keep going, regardless of the barriers. And so, what's next also? Because you said this is the new normal, and so there's obviously there's levels, and there's going to be some new heights, some new. I can imagine new people that you're going to be involved with, and they're going to be different from others that you've been involved with. So, what's the journey? What do you see that's going to be abnormal, which is going to be the new normal for you?
Well, my goal's still the same, bro. So like, it's still the same. Where no matter, you know, I wanted to find a way to provide for my family in terms of work. So my goal with this is to scale it as fast as I can. And I know that's a hard one for creators because, you know, like Seve Visuals it's me. You know, figuring out another person wearing that on their chest, it's like it's kind of like, you know, that feeling giving away your, you know, something that you've, a piece of, a part of you, you know. But it was never, for me, it was never like this is me and this is my thing. It was always I want this to grow to provide, you know. So that's my goal for this, in terms of scaling this to where I can provide for my family, but then also not just this, but in other ventures that I've looking to do as well, where it's the same goal: provide for my family, provide for my friends, not just my circle, but provide for others. You know, others are able to work and get incomes to feed their own families. That's always been my goal. It's not right now. It's just one man gang, you know. But not figuring out a way, but my plan is to grow it as fast as I can. In terms of work, like names wise or whatever, this year so I've jumped on with Orion, as I was saying. So I've been really excited for that. It's been fun looking after the media side for OTC. So that's like, see, as I was saying, Usgang. But we were just talking the other day. We were like, bro, that's crazy that we met at Jaden Lang. And that was like, you know, uni just started and we're working together now, you know? So it's him and there's Max Juice and Word on the Street. And I've only just started this contract, but I'm ready to grow this as much as I can, to the point that, yeah, we're humming even more, just adding value to what they, you know, that machine that they've got, it's crazy. They already have their systems. I'm just, jumping in there and wanting to make it grow even more. And then the cool thing about Orion is like, it's a mutual thing. He, as much as it grows his business, he wants me to grow my own. He's like, you know, you promote your own business and I'm always here to back you also. And I'm like, man, that's grateful as for someone like Orion to be like that for me. Yeah,
it's awesome. Also, I think there's one thing I noticed because you're entrepreneur and your entrepreneurial journey. Because something about entrepreneurs, it's kind of like sometimes they like to gravitate towards each other and they're quite creative, small circle. In terms of your career thus far, what makes a good entrepreneur? What do you think, or what are you kind of gauging with hanging out with other entrepreneurs? What makes a good entrepreneur?
it's weird. I don't even like. I always don't call myself an entrepreneur. Like my whole family is like, oh, he's the entrepreneur of the family. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know why I don't consider myself. I think because I hang around, I call them real entrepreneurs. But I think it's the attitude of that same attitude I was talking about. You know, like not giving up, having the that grind mentality where something might not look like it's here right now, but you stack the days and then compound effect. You know, it all kind of happens. I think that's what's happened with this, where it might seem like it's been in a year, but I've actually stacked days before this year had even started. You know, practicing on the church videos and watching. Bro, I used to watch vlogs, like I still watch vlogs crazy. I used to watch vlogs crazy, bro. Like Mike Thurston, all of these dudes, even Wolfgang before I'd even jumped in the industry, I was watching all of their stuff with the mindset of like learning different things. Oh, how did they record and all of that, stacking days, bro. And that's the, I would say, thing for entrepreneurs is it's kind of like there's no way around it. You just got to get through the work, but also having that eye for, you know, looking for the gaps and looking for either gaps in the market or looking for things that other people aren't doing that you might set your business or your, you know, might be your kind of standpoint. So, and then, yeah, that hustle mentality, I see, man, environment's a big thing, bro. Like the people that you hang around, that's, you know, what's the, Dave used to always say, you hang around 4 idiots, what does it make you? The first idiot. So it's like, I looked at my circle and I was like, oh, no one really does this. So I had to figure out how to get in the right, not the right circles, but get in the circles that were gonna benefit me in this.
Yeah.
So that's like people like those guys I've named. Also like creatives, because obviously there's the entrepreneur side and then there's the creative side of the element. So even hanging around creatives like 280 Visuals, he's a good mate of mine. Kanan Inne,
Yeah.
all of these guys are big names, but then also good mates, you know, like good people, bro. I always tell Liam 280, I was like, bro, I was digging holes when I was a guest fitter. I was watching your videos when I was in the hole, bro. And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, bro, I remember I dug this hole and I was sitting down watching your videos and your edits and I was like, bro, this guy's got mean edits. And I always tell him and he's like, wow, get back in that hole, G. So he's a good dude, bro. But it's, yeah, it's just like, yeah, I would say the environment is a big thing who you're around.
Yeah, no, I would agree 100% also. And so you notice now that obviously the environment you're saying, and you know, you seem like you got a lot of friends. Do you see that you are finding that people that you used to hang out with or used to hang out with you are kind of fallen to the wayside because of the journey that you're going to or going towards?
Nah, I wouldn't say that. Like there is you know, like we have different goals, you know, like which is all right. I wouldn't say like I'm not friends. I always try and there's a time for everything, you know. There's a time for business, but there's also a time for you know, like to be with the boys and to kind of let off steam, you know, with them. My thing's footy, you know, so that's my time with them. But I do kind of see that where it is, what's the word? The circle is changing, but it's not a changing in a bad way. I don't think. It's just like it's kind of that growth aspect, but remembering to always, you know, go back. I think balance is good as much as this is good. Being up here, it's not up here, but being over here, it's also, yeah, it's good to be with, you know, be with the grassroots or be with the level headed. I would say, right? They make sure I know, you know, when I'm with them, they're like, you're not, you know, you're not that man. I'm like, oh, sweet you. But I always just kind of, I love being with that, because it puts me in, it makes me realize, yeah, you know, still the same guy. So
Yeah, that's cool. This is a testament of your humility also. And so just because of the line of work that you do, so who's one individual or group of people that you feel like, man, if I were able just to film them or do work with them, who would that individual be or individuals be? If your dream, like, oh, I want to do this person, I want to film this person.
wow, that's what someone said, and I was like, it's a hard one, eh? Because to be honest, Jai was up there, bro. But I would say, I definitely want to do the All Blacks.
Yeah.
Then definitely want to do the All Blacks, but then also something in the UFC. I haven't really. It's funny. I haven't really got a niche. So like, you can probably tell from my page. It's like a music video right next to a sport video. You know, it's like, what does this guy do? But it's like, yeah, I kind of just like doing it all. I know what I don't like. You know, don't like weddings. I didn't know what I don't. It's just not my thing, bro. Like if I don't like, if I'm not excited to edit it, I know I don't like it. So, but yeah, it's funny. I said no more weddings, and then I had a music video the next week, and then I said to Tree, it was Tree and Swiss, what's the genre? And she said, oh, we're doing a wedding. I was like, really? Yeah. So I was filming there. I was like, oh, this is another wedding. But nah, so I would say the All Blacks. I definitely want to do All Blacks. I definitely want to do the UFC. And then I wouldn't cross off NBA. But I really liked that fight scene, eh? Just being in the midst of it, like, you know, getting the if you look at some of the content that we made for Jai over that week, bro, like it's intense, bro. One of my favorite editors, if you scroll back and look at Jai's fight day video, I didn't do this one, but it was Redeemer and Tony Maju, bro. They did this, like the hype around it is just like it's storytelling, eh? So like, yeah, it's just like that type of stuff is what I'm really keen on. All Blacks and fight scene and yeah, anything, bro.
No NRL, no.
Oh
no,
yeah,
Kiwis,
I'll be doing. I've got some of the
Kiwis. Or
I've got some of the NRL lined up, coming up with one of the bros. Oh, if it goes through, but he messaged. He does the Dolphins. So I've talked about him before. Eddie. Hopefully that comes through. That'll be cool. Yeah, I don't really have a bucket list day. I'm like, I'm cool with whatever.
it's cool, man.
I'm just no, I'm not too. I don't really have. I would say Jai and even Justus Leaoseve. He's another big one, but yeah, no real like stingers. Yeah,
That's cool. So, because I know, because just going with NRL and league, what's your team? What's your team? What's your NRL team?
Oh, bro, I'm a sucker. You know, I have to go for the Warriors, eh? Yeah, I know, bro. Sucks. Nah. Yeah, I've always just been a Warriors boy. I actually like a lot of teams. Like I like a lot of teams how they play. Obviously Melbourne, Penrith, who else? Yeah, those like the kind of the top teams how they play. Even I used to like how the Eels played last year, but not this year. But yeah, just I would say the Warriors. Just because I know heaps of the local boys that go through there, you know, like played against Adam Pompey growing up and through high school and had some good battles, and even Tom Ale played at Bay School together. So I like following there, you know. I'm more like the journey side, seeing how they're doing, and rather than the actual whose teams. But yeah, bro.
So you said the Warriors haven't kind of hit you up to do like a video for them, or because do they have their own videographers?
Yeah. They have their own team. They do pretty well. They haven't hit me up. I tried. We did a bit of stuff with that whole Spider-Man thing together, but nothing yet. I think just because they're in high demand, bro. So it's kind of pretty hard to get into it. But I'm really not really keen on it anyway. Like I would. No, not that I'm not. Not like that. I mean, like I would like. I kind of like the freelance thing where I would like to come in and shoot for them, but not. I wouldn't be in the team as much because they have a good system, and I don't think I'd slot in too well unless something changes. But bro, I'll never cross off the opportunity, bro. Never know. I might be eating my words in a couple months, but yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, man, I love also. It's just because of the work you do and because of the person that you are also. What's the goal? What's the goal for Seve Visuals? How do you see it when it's all said and done? and you're kind of doing your thing, and you know things obviously the progressing just get massive. What's the ultimate goal for you in terms of Severe visuals?
Oh, tricky one. Ultimate goal for me, or for the business is just like to be a well-known business that, you know, takes care of its employees, all of that, you know, like something like, I don't know how it's going to grow legs or which way it's going to go, but just something that's, you know, like a staple. But for myself, obviously, as I was saying, bro, my ultimate goal is just glorifying the Lord, bro. And I think that will all take care of itself, uh, if I am to do that. Um, I can do, I do look at, like, you know, like my brand on my shirt when I wear it, and I was like, I wonder how big this is going to be in 10 years, you know? But where any time can tell. So I don't really have a vision of which way it's going to go, whether it'll be like a studio or whether it'll be, you know, full blown corporate. But whatever way it goes, I'm just keen to bring you guys along on the journey. And that's what content's for, you know? I think a lot of people don't bring people on the journey. They just show the end product, but, you know, like making people buy into your story and bringing people along. That's how you build a connection, and that's how you build the following and have people that are like, oh man, like, I remember this guy when he had just started his first year, and now, you know, and I remember this brand when it's doing their first couple gigs. So, yeah.
I love also just because I know your mom was an intricate part of who you are, and just the journey thus far. If mom was still alive, also, I hope you don't mind me asking this, but if mom was still alive, and all this, obviously, all these things are happening for you, what would you say to mom? What would be the conversation? How would it look like for you when you're telling mom, this is what's happened, this is who I met? Just let us know. What would it look like or sound like?
I already know, bro. Every single time after a big gig, I would call her in the car. And she'd be like, how did the gig go? Or how was he? Or what was he like? And I'll just be telling, you know, oh man, this, that, you know. One of the big ones was Butterbean, because she had been a big follower of Butterbean growing up, you know. And she just asked me, what is he like, and this, that. Then she would say, half of it is like, so proud of you. But then the second half of it is, remember the Lord, you know. Remember the Lord. Keep remembering the Lord and all these things. So, and I would always be like, just keep you're proud of me. But yeah, definitely that, bro. It's just remembering to ground myself and yeah, take people with me, you know, take my family, take my friends. So,
Not
yeah.
also. Any words of encouragement? Because before we kind of wrap up, also, any words of encouragement for our men out there? Because you're the first in 2025, our very first guest also. And so, what words of encouragement would you send out to our men out there who probably need it in this day and age? What would you say to our men?
To our men, I would say when it comes to, like, in terms of men today, I think there's a lack of leadership, you know, like not leadership, but leading in the homes, you know. As much as we can be, you know, like a leader out in our fields, you always got to remember, you know, you're the head of your home first. And it's a good testament, you know, like of what not a good man, but a Christian man, or someone that's called to lead, because that's the position that you are as a man. You're called to lead your wife, lead your kids in a way that's gonna example to them. So I would say having leadership, you know, learning how to lead. Go to work, you know. It doesn't mean you got to be this, you know, like in the camera, or like you don't need to be, I wouldn't say somebody, bro. I would say you don't need to be in the public eye to be a leader. You can be a leader in your home, be a leader in your workplace, be a leader to your kids, because there's no point having all of these accolades if you can't do that, because that's your number one, that's your priority. And I think that gets lost today a lot. And I'm always reminding myself that too. But definitely just calling men to lead. The way we do that is by leading our family in the right way, which is, what the word says, learning, leading your family with your examples, because you don't realize your kids actually watch everything you do. And I realize that. And at times I stuff up and I'm like, this is going to come back, my kid's going to be watching this. And yeah, I think it's definitely something that's missing these days. Leadership.
Awesome. Also, it's been an absolute pleasure. It is just obviously just a snippet of your journey so far. And so every guest that comes on, we always give them a gift also. And so I'm not sure if you I'm not sure. Do you because we got some wine for you also. Is that good for you?
I don't drink, but my wife cooks.
So we just got a gift out there for you, but I'll give it after that. I'll tell her no. But otherwise, also absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming on, and all the best with your endeavors in 2025, your family, your business, and the up and coming business that you had mentioned early on. But appreciate your time also. Thank you very much. And as usual, don't forget to subscribe, and thank you once again. I love you, sweet for what.